Ilhan Omar, for me, has this blend of just being completely uncompromising in a good way on the moral issues of our time, including Israel's genocide in Gaza. And she stood up to AIPAC and took a huge hit being called an anti-Semite really early on in her career. That smear was aided by the leader of her own party, Nancy Pelosi, and other Democrats. She withstood that. She got into more high up leadership positions on the Congressional Progressive Caucus. She's just a very smart and talented politician, in addition to having the right things to say. And this is how you deal with freaks like this guy Miles Morell of the Daily Caller trying to talk to her on the street about immigration.
Congresswoman Omar, I'm Miles Morell with the Daily Caller News Foundation. Do you think more of your Democratic colleagues should be traveling to El Salvador to advocate on behalf of Rodrigo Garcia?
I think you should fuck off. Yeah, that's
I'm sorry, what, Congresswoman?
fuck off.
Who should?
Yes.
Why me?
We're not taking any questions right now, but here you go.
Yeah, thanks.
Hell yes.
Congresswoman Omar.
Oh,
That is what we like to see. God bless Ilhan and her staff.
yeah.
His reaction's pretty funny too. It's in there.
What?
He posted a reaction video, like clutching his pearls about her.
Oh, please,
language.
let's play this. Because, I mean, we're going to have a Republican that's upset about some disrespect to the press.
He's a journalist.
Oh, right. The Republicans who have a president who is so respectful of journalists and the press, so much so that if they don't follow his lead and change the data internally at their news organization to say that the Gulf of Mexico is now the Gulf of America, he's going to ban them from the White House.
Also, a journalist who in his Twitter profile, like the background picture is him standing in front of the Trump 2024 plane with like a big thumbs up and a grin on his face.
That's
objectivity.
That's the guy. This is the bastion of the free press here in this country. So this is his poor victim upset about Ilhan telling him to fuck off.
Today, I've been asking House Dems if they would encourage their colleagues to go to El Salvador to advocate on behalf of Rodrigo Garcia. And when I encountered Ilhan Omar and I asked her that question, she immediately responded by telling me to F off. I asked her to follow up. She told me to F off
She said, fuck off.
again. And I just found that very unprofessional, very rude, especially when I was just a journalist who's trying to do his job.
No, you're a hog.
Today,
A journalist just trying to do his job.
You're a hog that should be in a pen.
He was verbally assaulted.
We're gonna really clutch our pearls about the freedom of the press here. Come on.
That is the freedom of the press. You got your quote. Fuck off.
Yeah, that's exactly
What
right.
do you mean professional? You're not the who the hell are you? Who's Miles? Well, can we get a little biographic information on this hog? Like, who is he to lecture a elected doubly? How many times has Ilhan been elected? Member of Congress.
Since 2018.
3 times.
Yeah.
About manners, bro. It's you. You're not the professionalism police. You work for the fucking Daily Caller.
Yeah, and it's just silly because they do this all the time. I mean, this is how the far right operates. They're both like, they accuse the left of being snowflakes and weak and pathetic, but they can't handle any kind of pushback without whining. Yeah, cry bullies. But isn't that the hallmark of fascists too?
It's all Vance does.
They hold these contradictions in their minds and they don't even think twice about it. Where fascists, when they define their opponents often, whether it's, the Nazis and the Jews and other movements that have targeted minority groups in the past, their opponents and the people that they're persecuting are Israel and the Palestinians. Hamas, they're so powerful. They're this terrorist organization that has the capacity to kill us all, and they want to wipe Israel off the map. But they're also so pathetic and don't have Western values and are essentially primitive and fascists do this here in the United States, that they are both like incredibly weak and fragile, but also the strong men and the tough guys. Like, pick which one, but that's kind of the binary that they put themselves in with their worldview. So Donald Trump is one of the worst presidents in the history of this country in terms of press freedom and freedom of speech. Let's not even get into that right now. Ilhan Omar has the freedom of speech to tell you fuck off. You know who doesn't have the freedom of speech to say how they actually feel about the world and who try to engage in political protest, which is the hallmark of the First Amendment and our country's founding? Romeo Ozturk, Mahmoud Khalil, all of the other political prisoners right now in the Trump administration who have been speaking out against the genocide in Gaza.
Here's some headlines from the Daily Caller about Ilhan Omar, and this is why these like. And look, I don't like the mainstream press either.
Right.
This is not an improvement. These stupid hogs. She learned young that crying racism pays. That's Tucker Carlson blasting her in 2019. Ilhan Omar defends Dem rep who called Israel racist. That seems like probably Rashid Tlaib maybe, but that is a good call. Israel is racist. Lawmaker calls Crenshaw racist. I'm pretty sure she deserved it. Rashid Tlaib defends Ilhan Omar's 9/11 comments. I'm sure that was a good defense. Racist Trump. I mean, this is fuck the Daily Caller. Like,
yeah, well, I mean, they were a huge part of the direction of extremely racist, xenophobic attacks towards Ilhan Omar. As I said earlier, like, people may not remember what it was like when she first entered Congress.
oh yeah.
I mean, she has come a long way within the caucus that finally defends her or doesn't at least maliciously go after her. But for a while, she was fighting on two fronts. The entire Republican Party that was foaming at the mouth with Islamophobia and saying that she had sex with her brother and these disgusting, disgusting Islamophobic Nazi smears. And then you had Nancy
by
Pelosi.
a sex trafficker, by a guy who got busted at Anton Lazaro in Minnesota. The
Right.
source for the Ilhan married her brother thing is a guy named Anton Lazaro, who Tucker Carlson defended, who had one young girl recruiting others for him for sex stuff at St. Cloud, Minnesota.
Yeah, right. And then the Democrats were also throwing her under the bus as well. So good for her for standing up for. Or just telling that guy to fuck off, as she says.
There's your quote. Because, I mean, let's address the actual issue, right?
Yeah.
The will you go defend people who are MS-13 members, just allege that. Take that as proven in court, even though it's not. What has been said by court is, don't send that guy to El Salvador, and then you send him to fucking El Salvador, to a prison colony. That's the issue. Honestly, he could be like a mass murderer. He could be a serial killer. It doesn't matter. When the courts say, don't send that person to that country, and you send that person to that country, and then you say, well, fuck off, I'm not going to try to make this problem better. That's the problem.
Right.
You know, I think one of the things that makes a show of how great of a politician Omar is, I don't know the order of these things. Either this exchange took place and then she walked into Congress and gave a speech where she talked about the Abrego Garcia case.
Can we play that?
Yeah, we should play it. I have it in the sound sheet.
8.
Or if it was vice versa, which would sort of make more sense, that she'd given this speech and he heard it or read it or something and was like, oh, I'm gonna call her out on this. But I just think it's cool to listen to, like, in the street she deals with this idiot the way she did, and this is what she sounds like when she's actually engaging in, like, political discourse that's in good faith.
In a way Fetterman could never.
I am here today as a representative of a community that is deeply alarmed by the actions of this administration. Just weeks ago, the Trump administration defied a unanimous, we didn't think this was possible, but a unanimous Supreme Court order by refusing to facilitate the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a Maryland father wrongfully deported to the notorious prison in El Salvador. Despite the court's clear directive, the administration continues to ignore the rule of law, undermining the very foundation of our democracy. In my own district, the situation is equally troubling. A graduate student at the University of Minnesota was detained by ICE agents without warning. Despite having no involvement in political activism, he was taken from his home, held without immediate explanation, and had his visa retroactively revoked. This action not only disturbed his education, but also instilled fear in our academic community. These are not isolated incidents. Across the country, people are being detained and deported without due process, often based on tenuous or unverified allegations. The administration's use of obscure laws like the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to justify these actions is a blatant abuse of power. We must ask ourselves, if the rights of non-citizens can be so easily disregarded, whose rights will be next? Our Constitution guarantees due process and equal protection under the law to everyone in this country, not just citizens. If the government can silence you, detain you, or deport you while defying court orders, then none of our rights are safe. If we let this slide, we are saying the Constitution is optional, and it is not. What we are seeing is authoritarianism creeping in through the back door, one ignored ruling at a time. My colleagues and I are ready to fight back with everything we've got. Thank you, and I yield back.
Amazing stuff. Love Ilhan Omar.
And folks, I don't want to go too far afield, but one of the big early things she did was go after Elliot Abrams.
Right.
And people can look up that clip. I'm sure we covered it here. And I just remember, like, just want to point out the type of crap that she's had to deal with her entire time in Congress. This is a Vox explainer of that by Zach Beauchamp, who is, for some reason, their Israel guy, even though I think he's probably not great at it. And this is just the first paragraph. First-term Rep. Ilhan Omar is making headlines again on the heels of a controversy surrounding a tweet of hers that struck many observers, including me, as anti-Semitic. Omar has again garnered attention over her tough questioning of Trump's special envoy to Venezuela, Elliot Abrams. So Zach Beauchamp decides to start off, and that tweet was the All About the Benjamins tweet about why we support Israel so much. That tweet is 10 toes down, absolutely correct. And the clutching at pearls from people like Zach Beauchamp is every bit as problematic to me as the Daily Caller type bullshit. And it's so clear why and how complicit our media class is with how far this goddamn stuff with Israel's getting out of hand. Where, I mean, it's just, we're taking drones, let's bomb flotillas of people just trying to bring food into the country.
Yeah.
Because Zach Beauchamp, because he can't figure out if there's a tunnel between the West Bank and Gaza yet. That's a famously correction he had to put on. But yet Vox is going to put him on this, and he's gonna clear his throat before Ilhan Omar. This is one of the best things that a congressperson done is take Elliot Abrams to task. We're going to imply that she's anti-Semitic. It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, Beauchamp was the guy that thought there was a land bridge between the West Bank and Gaza, which is like...
And it's like, oh, sorry, that was just thought of.
Yeah, that's...
Let's keep publishing this guy on the tub. Let's not pull him off the subject forever.
Yeah.
Let's hear what he has to say about the possibilities of liberal Zionism's reemergence. Something. Everyone's head is filled with shit by complete charlatans.
Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.